Peace, power, purpose. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Guide, the Daily Vibe, hosted by yours truly, Pretty Boss. I'm checking in on a lovely Tuesday, October 29th at 11:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Big shouts out to everyone in the building. This is prophetic guidance, spiritual guidance for those of you who are on a path of purpose, constantly seeking alignment. For those of you who are looking for confirmation, guidance, and clarity, and even comfort regarding some of your situations. There are going to be messages here for everybody that tunes in. If you're listening, you were led here for a reason. However, there will be very specific messages for those who need it the most. I did a meditation probably about 30 minutes before I sat to do this prophetic guidance. And then I did another brief one before coming in. And one of the things that came to me as I sat down to start recording is something about a push, something about, it's almost like birth, okay? So some of you are giving birth to something inside of yourself that has been dormant, that's ready to come out. It's almost like, this is making me think, honestly, of the story of the hero. And this is interesting because one of the YouTube videos that I shared on Pretty Boss TV last week was something about that, right? It's the story of the hero. And as I'm sitting here, the message that's coming to me for whoever this is for is think about when we do watch movies, right? We've seen the Marvels, we've seen the comics, we've seen those different types of cinema. And think about how things are right before the hero arrives. Like, usually when the hero shows up, it's last minute. It's like, it looks like it's over, right? And then the hero comes last minute to save the day. This is how this applies to you, and it's a very dope that visual is given to me for whoever this is for. The way that this applies to you is some of you could be dealing with pressure right now, and this is even making me think of, we did prophetic guidance not long ago called Pressure. So if this one resonates, you might want to scroll through Patreon or just click on the collections tab and go to the daily guide and scroll down to the prophetic message that was called Pressure, okay? Because that could be for somebody. But this is reminding me that we did a message about pressure, and some of you from that time even could have been experiencing pressure. Maybe some of you are like, this pressure has not lifted off. I'm starting to feel a lot of anxiety. I'm starting to feel type of ways about, the pressure that I'm enduring. I've been doing all that I can do, and things aren't shifting, and it's starting to look impossible. And again, this impossibility I want y'all to liken to the movies that we've seen where it's like, oh, it's over. And then last minute, the hero will come through. The thing about this is the pressure that some of you, or whoever this is for, may be facing or feeling. What you're going to see is this is actually working for you, okay? Because even when we think about the story of the hero, it's like, it's almost like, something about pressure, even how we talk about it's darkest before the dawn, all of these types of things. There's always a common element, a common theme of some form of opposition, some form of resistance, some form of defeat that seems as if it comes right before success. It seems it comes right before significant transformation, significant change, significant breakthrough. And for those of you who this is for, the pressure that you've been dealing with, that you've been waiting on things to shift, this pressure is actually working for you because you're about to become your own hero. And what I mean by that, of course, we co-create with the Most High. But what I mean by this is there's something inside of you that you didn't even know that you had. but it's getting ready to come out. It makes me think of, how some people work better under pressure. I'm definitely one of those people, and I know a lot of people who can relate to that. Even a lot of my closer personal connections, we all eventually get on that topic, and many people that I know that are close to me works better under pressure. And some of you, it might be the same thing, but for those of you who do work good under pressure, you resonate with that. Think about how it feels where, let's say you're in school or you have something going on or you have something that you need to do and you wait last minute to do it. Had the whole semester. People who work good under pressure, it doesn't make us happy. It creates a lot of stress and anxiety, actually. But those who work good under pressure, when it is that last minute, there's something that just comes through that just, takes over the entire situation. Even when I think back, when I was in school, in my undergrad years, college years, and even, primary school years like high school and things of that nature, when I would be in a situation to where it's like I have to produce, I would perform in ways that I'm like, I didn't even know that was possible. How? I can't tell you how many times I wrote a full 25-page research paper that needed to be correct, APA format, backed by research theory, all of these things. And I would have about maybe 24 hours and some change to do it. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've been in that situation. And then when I'll do it and everything will turn out fine, I'll get a grade that I'm looking for. Um, it would be like, wow, I didn't even know that I had that inside of me, right? And every single time, anybody who works good under pressure can resonate with this. So for some of you, this is the type of energy, even though what I feel for some of you, it could be a specific scenario where it's like that, like, man, I got to do these things and I'm just a little bit anxiety about it. But I do want to say, if it is on that literal level, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna you don't have to worry about it. Like, you work well under pressure, you always have, and nothing's gonna change now. But for others of you, even for some of you who may not resonate with what I just said about working well under pressure, maybe you haven't had to experience that, or maybe that's just not the way you operate. For most of you who this message is for, even if you don't apply it in that literal way in your life, it's okay. I was given an analogy because this is like, for most who this is for, this is a situation where in life something has been giving you a lot of pressure. Something seems to not be lifting or not be shifting in a direction that's giving you ease, because whoever this is for, there's a lot of anxiety that you're dealing with. Okay, there's anxiety about something. There's a worry, there's a doubt, there's a fear. Some of you, there could be like a certain amount of pain attached. But the thing about this is, you're about to experience a version of yourself emerge that never needed to, because the pressure was never heavy enough. Does that make sense? I want to give a tangible example of this. So, for instance, right, we always talk about, and this is just an example, it's going to apply in many different ways, but I want to give at least one example of what I mean by how the pressure could give birth to something inside of you that has been dormant or has been stagnant or just has never had to fully emerge in that way. Okay. Think about, how we always say, stay positive, focus positively, focus on gratitude, do those things that shift your vibration, whatever it is, dancing, singing, running, I don't know, sitting outside in the sun, whatever it is that you do to shift your vibration into Philippians 4:8, focus on anything that is good, anything that is worthy, anything that is honorable of praise. We talk about that all the time. And we talk about how much of the work that we need to do, especially regarding our lives, it's a mental work. It's a focus. And then we always talk about how, it also takes time. You focus your mind, you hold that focus regardless of what's going on conditionally around you. And when we're able to hold that space, and what I mean by space is that higher vibrational space, that higher focus, we're able to hold that Philippians 4:8 energy, then you start to see things shift and align with that. So for some of you, it's like, this is what's happening for you. It's like you could be dealing with something that's such a really, really a heavy burden, something that's weighing heavy on you, and it's going to cause you to focus in a way that you just haven't been able to focus. And it's like this, whatever weight that you may be feeling, whatever anxiety, whatever contrast that you're enduring, this is literally helping you. You're about to come to pure clarity about something. Okay? Like, you're going to have a moment of clarity inside of you. There's going to be something that shifts. It's like something is coming outside of you, something inside that you already have is coming out to burst forth to be that hero that you need right now. Okay? It's something like that. And even when we talk about prayer and meditation, which of course I'm going to continue to talk about here today, but even when we talk about prayer and meditation, a lot of times we pray, a lot of times people pray. And most time people are asking for things, I need this, I need that. But the most powerful prayer, and how we can know with beyond a shadow of a doubt if our prayer was actually effective, is, did it shift us though? Because that's truly where the most power of prayer lies, is in its ability, when we connect with it in the right way, the ability for it to change us. So if you pray and you feel anxiety before you go into prayer, but by the time you come out of prayer you don't feel that anxiety, there you go, that prayer is effective. It's shifted you, because now as that anxiety lessens because of the prayer, if it has had that effect on you, now you're moving in a different direction. Now you're not being led by anxiety. Now your mind is not focused in that way, but you shifted your vibration to where you're in a different space to be able to receive and hear higher vibrational ideas, thoughts, and solutions. This is a time for some of you, like when I say some of you, I some of you, it's literally darkest before your dying era. Like, some of you have no idea how things are getting ready to unfold for you um relatively swiftly, okay? Again, whoever this is for, let me know in the comments who this is, who this is for, who this is resonating with. But whoever this is for, it's like there's so much instability, okay? There's so much anxiety. Some of you may be dealing with certain forms of depression. Some of you could be in situations where now you're backtracking. You're like, man, well, if I would have just did this and I did this, maybe I should have did that. And maybe this would have happened. Then I would be in this situation. And it's like all of those things, you're really being called to release. And again, whoever this is for, I promise you, it's like you are being, for lack of better words, some of you may feel like you're just attacked from all sides right now. You know how they say it feels like you're between a rock and a hard place? Some of you could feel that way. But again, things are working out for you. There's something that for some of you could have fallen apart even recently. Okay, so maybe some of you could have had, just a major aspect of your life that just suddenly just went down. Like, even think about if you have a job, you depend on this job, you depend on these finances for things that you need to take care of. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we're going out of business, or oh, we have to lay you off. You know, that's like a sudden life changing event. That's like, wow, now when out of nowhere. Like, now what am I going to do? And I say out of nowhere with hesitation, because we do know, as, the powerful co-creators that we are, that nothing really is out of the blue. Everything is a buildup of energy. But again, sometimes when we're missing, when we, I don't want to say are off the path, because even when we're off the path, we're on it. We're always being led. We're divinely guided. But what I mean by that is when we're being called in a direction, and sometimes we may not be hearing that. Sometimes we might not be going with the flow in which the Most High is calling us. When we do that, then we put ourselves on a certain path. But then as you focus, right, it's not difficult at all to get right back in the flow of everything beautifully unfolding and flowing for you. So some of you, again, like I said, it could be something that just suddenly happened. For some of you, it could be a relationship. It could be a situation where maybe there's a relationship that had, significant bearings even on other aspects of your life. Sometimes there's relationships where, one person is dependent on the other person for certain things that they need. And then if that relationship falls apart, then your resources could be affected by that. Your resources could be threatened. So for some of you, it could be something like that where you're like, man, this person or this thing that was something that I was able to depend on or was a resource for me, all of a sudden I don't have access to that. And the thing about this is happening literally for you. This is to give birth. It's like some of you are at the final push of literally a major transformation. And when we're talking about transformation, family, true transformation, you're never the same after that. So it's worth it. Whatever happens in life, whatever is the catalyst of the transformation, as uncomfortable as it may be, once that transformation happens, like, it's totally worth it. It makes me think of even when they talk about snakes shedding skin. So I remember I was reading something about that one time. When snakes shed their skin, it's very uncomfortable for them. They often don't like to be seen. It feels very uncomfortable. It's just not a good thing at all. But as soon as that old skin shed, now they have this new skin that is perfect for them now, completely transformed, will never be able to get back in that old skin. Butterfly in the cocoon phase. Then finally it gets to a moment where it unravels and it's that butterfly. And it'll never be a caterpillar again. This is the type of transformation that you're getting ready to experience, because again, this is about something inside. You're giving birth to something inside of you, and for a lot of you, this is light. This is something that's going to come straight from your gut. It's like you're connecting with light, with truth, with power, with source. And you're going to see that for some of you, you might already be there, but there's going to be a one of your darkest moments where this light is going to burst forth. And it it takes a certain amount of pressure for whoever this applies to. It took a certain amount of pressure, or it's taken a certain amount of pressure or resistance or opposition in order to birth this thing, because this is powerful. It's like alchemy. So from one form to another, a completely different form. And whatever you've been experiencing, this pain, this anxiety, this fear for some of you as well, this doubt, all of that is literally getting ready to activate something inside of you that gives birth to its equal and opposite equivalent. Some of you, this is related to either walking away from something that you had been called to walk away from, or a situation just unraveling. If it wasn't your own doing, it could have been, again, in an example, okay, a layoff. Like, you didn't quit your job, but you got released, right? Or let's say in the case of a relationship, maybe you walk away from a relationship that the Most High has been giving you signs and things about, but now that puts you in a situation. Or if you didn't walk away from a relationship or a group or a community, maybe they ostracized themselves from you or left you. But whatever the catalyst, whatever these things are, it's literally because you're getting ready to see something that you're not going to be able to unsee. And a lot of you as well, the beautiful thing about this, because it's like some of you, I know this is something that you've been struggling with. Like, whoever this is for, there's something you need. Whoever this is for, you really need a blessing. You really do need a sign, a miracle, a wonder, something. You need help. You need a leg up. And the thing about it is you're getting right. It's gonna happen for you. And what you're feeling and what you're enduring right now is part of that unfolding. You did the right thing. Some of you walked away from a situation, or people may have, if it wasn't you walking away, like I said, it could be others walking away from you or releasing you. But what you don't see about whatever you were being led to let go of, and again, whatever this is, it's like stand your ground, because sometimes situations are so obvious. So let me paint a picture. Let's say somebody's in a relationship, right? And it's domestically abusive. Very bad. And all the different types of forms of domestic abuse. Which, when I say different forms, mental, emotional, physical, right? And let's say this person, of course, on the outside, everybody looking in could be like, yeah, you need to get out that situation. Like, you're not going to prosper there. The longer you stay, nothing is going to change. If anything, it's setting you up for, a worse possible future outcome. So most people on the outside of situations like that will look in and be like, look, you just need to go. Things will work out. Trust God. Things will fall. Everybody will have those things to say. But for the person in that situation, they might be in fear. They might be like, well, if I leave the situation, where am I going to go? I'm going to be homeless. I don't have resources. I don't have family. Or the family that I did have, I cut off, and I'm not able to go to them for help. Right? So then it's almost, it's easy for us to say, well, look, trust, we know that you don't see how things are going to work out for you, but watch how God works. Like, the first step is to leave. And so some of you, it's a situation like that, but it may not be that dramatic. It's easy for us to look and see where there's obvious abuse and things that are misaligned. Obviously most people are going to be like, get out of there for your safety. It's easy to say that because it's so extreme. But for some of you, it's not that specific example, but you're in a situation that is like that. You're in a situation where you know that you've been being led to leave. You know that some things haven't been right. You know that maybe it's just not in alignment with you. Maybe you know that it's not something that you truly desire, whatever it might be. And some of you have walked away. Some of you are being led again to move away, to move in a direction, to move in the direction of trust. And what you're going to see is you're not going to fall. You're not going to be left to fall. You're not going to be left to fall. You're stable and you're grounded in whatever your situation is, because like I said, I don't know how this is applying for those of you, but it's a very strong message, whoever this is for. Stay centered in that peace. One of the scriptures I always share on the daily guidance, the daily bread, is those who keep their minds and eyes focused on the Most High shall be kept in perfect peace. So stay centered in that way. It's making me think, this is taking me, and I think I just mentioned this Bible verse not long ago, but it makes me think of when Peter was coming off the boat and it was a storm and he was focused on Yeshua and he was walking on water. And then as soon as he started realizing what was happening, he started looking at the storm, then he began to sink. And Yeshua said, "Oh, ye of little faith." This is also making me think of the time when they were on the boat and it was storming like crazy. Like, the winds and the waters and the waves was slapping at that boat, okay? And they were like, "Yeshua, we're gonna die. Don't you see the storm?" Yeshua was peacefully asleep, but he got up. He's like, again, that ye of little faith type of energy. So this is the thing. This, whatever you're dealing with right now, is putting you in a place within yourself where your alignment is going to be unconditional, and that truly is what makes us powerful. So let me say something like this. Let's say, for instance, and again, just for those who this is for, try your best to just relax to this next piece of what I'm going to say. And the reason I say try your best to relax into this next piece of what I'm going to say is because when you're in the moment, when you're dealing with it, it can definitely feel overwhelming, okay? But just try to set that to the side for a little bit and hear these words. So, even when we talk about this situation, right, where the storm is happening, Yeshua was chilling peacefully. The disciples are going crazy. They're like, "What's going on? Where's Yeshua? What is he going to do? We're going to die. He's not doing nothing." And some of you could literally feel like this. For some of you, this situation is tied to physical things, things where you need something or someone to show up for you. You need an actual resource. Some of you, this could also be in a way, this might not be for everybody, but there could be somebody listening to where this is in a way where it's like you need something to hold on to life for right now. Some of you somebody that's listening to this could be to a brink of like, look, I just can't take this. So this is for you, and this is also for others who it may not be that, but it could just be another situation of your life where it seems like it's overwhelming. Even if we talk about, for instance, with finances, maybe like, look, I got the bills due, I got rent due this day, I got this due that day. Like how things are, nothing has come through. Like I am stuck, nothing is happening. What am I gonna do? And the pressure that you're dealing with is for you to be able to find unconditional alignment, to find that groundedness, to find the groundedness in the way that when the storm was going crazy and everybody on the boat was losing their mind, Yeshua was not moved. He was not bothered by it in any sense of the word. He was asleep. They bothered him. They woke that man up out of his sleep due to their own fears that he was unbothered about, even though they were all in the same circumstance. Whatever pressure that you're experiencing right now is giving you the gift of that type of focus and alignment, because some of you are going to deal with a pressure. There's so much pressure. Okay, let me use more scripture to paint what I'm saying, right? Even when we think about, it's making me think about Jehoshaphat's prayer when we go to the Old Testament. And they had some people to defeat. They had a thing that looked like the opposition was a giant. It was way stronger than their ability. And the instructions was what? The only thing that you need to do is stand. Another scripture that's coming to mind as I say this is when we say, be still and know that I am God, right? Be still and know that I am. Some of you are dealing with a situation that may be so intense for you that it's literally going to snap you into alignment. It's literally going to show you where to find that light and that inner groundedness always. Some of you are shifting into that, I'm telling you. And this is a gift. This is the gift. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Some of you, even for instance, let's say finances are an issue right now. The first thing that comes to anyone's mind that needs finances or feel like there's a lack of resources is, I need more resources. I need more money. If I have more money, then this is going to be resolved. However, what do we really know about that? Money doesn't fix money problems. Some of you are in a situation, and even speaking to that, some of you could be in a situation where it's like, you know what, maybe that has been a thing. Maybe you've been having money issues, and maybe you've been using different resources. Maybe people's been helping you. Maybe money's been coming in, but you keep finding yourself in the same scenario. It's like how, no matter how much help, no matter what comes through, no matter how many finance, no matter how many order, no matter whatever it might be for you, no matter how much of it, you keep finding yourself back in the same place. You're getting ready to tap into the root of something. Like I said, there's something that is getting ready to shift inside of you for once and for all, like transformation. Like how when fire touches something, it's forever transformed. This is the type of transformation that this is a catalyst. Like you're literally giving birth to alignment. You're giving birth to unconditional focus. You're going to do it. Whoever this is for, you're going to push through. It's like focus on the positives as much as possible. And focus and take your time to focus until you start to feel that relief. If you feel anxiety, if you feel fear, if you feel doubt, you're not going to go from feeling that way to just jumping over the moon. Not without something changing conditionally. And even if a condition did change, let's say somebody came and gave you all the money that you need plus double it. Now you got what you need and double. maybe temporarily that will get you to feel good. Like, oh, the money came through. Now I feel good. But it's like, no, like, imagine you're not going to get to that place without some type of external condition changing. And again, the reason that even that I'm not even here to say that's not going to happen for you. But my whole point is the process that's happening for you right now, it doesn't entail an external condition changing. It entails a process that's happening inside of you. Because I'm telling you, for those of you that is listening to this, it's already happening. But you're going to get to the root of the thing. Because again, even or I'll give another example. Let's say it's certain times where you have relationships and you're like, man, everything's good. And then it gets to a certain point in the relationship is like this. Why is these cycles? I've done this. I've read all the books. I've done all the things. Why does it keep coming back to this? It's because there's something inside of you that is still creating a space that's allowing that experience. Or another way to say is attracting that experience to show you something. And you're getting ready to connect with the core of something, and it's literally going to be in the nick of time. Trust the process. Even for those of you today, it's like one thing that we know causes anxiety is when we're focused too far out ahead. Some of you, I heard somebody like, look, if tomorrow's too far ahead, then hey, but no, even tomorrow's too far ahead. Even an hour from now is too far ahead to focus out. All of our power that we have access to at all times is in the now. Scripture tells us, do not worry tomorrow, for tomorrow's anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own troubles. So some of you, even if it's something that you feel is just an hour out or a week out or a day out or a couple days out, choose to decide that you don't have to experience it in that way this time. Maybe, yes, you don't know where certain things are going on. Maybe you do need a blessing. Maybe you do need a miracle. Maybe you do need an answer. Maybe you do need a resource. But for some of you, the truth of the matter is you may not have that right now. You might not know where to find it. It is what it is. It's not currently there. But again, another thing to realize is tomorrow isn't here yet. The next hour isn't here yet. And putting yourself out that far ahead is only going to add to the worry and the anxiety. Let me tell you, somebody that's listening to this, you're getting ready to shift because whoever this is for, you've been in a space where it's like you've been waiting. A lot of you have been cultivating that power sensor in yourself to where you have been doing your best to focus. You have been praying. You have been meditating. You have been allowing that light to expand. And a lot of you have been waiting on something to shift to where it's like you can get some type of relief. Especially emotionally, where it's like, okay, if I can breathe, my waters flow again. Things are okay. Thank the Lord. The worst case scenario isn't going to happen after all. And the thing about it is you've been waiting, but you're about to experience something unfold in a way that you will not be able to make up. And another thing I want to say for somebody here, somebody may be listening to this where it's like a certain amount of resources or something that you feel like, man, I need help or I need more options or I can't find it. You have more options and opportunities available to you than you're currently realizing. Some of you are dealing with some type of dilemma and it's going to work in your favor. And another thing that I want to say to some of you is also don't think the worst. Some of you are going to see that even if it's like, let's say you were trying to do something. You're like, oh man, I missed. Let's say there was like a 24-hour notice deadline and then you didn't do it. And it's like, oh man, now I'm going to have to pay for that or I missed out on that. And they don't make any exceptions. It's like some of you just be insistent. Like, don't think negative. Like sometimes we don't ask for things. What do they say? What does the Bible say? We have not because we ask not. But that's making me think of when people also say a closed mouth doesn't get fed, right? So it's like try anyway. The worst answer is no. Let's say you already know the store policy or something, but let's say it's like, man, I really need to reschedule, or I really need this refund, or I really need this, and you know that the website says, okay, no refunds, or you know that they're like, okay, you cannot reschedule unless you give us a 24-hour notice or you forfeit your deposit. It's like, call anyway. Try anyway. Okay? Try anyway. You never know. And again, it doesn't have to be that specific example, but this just for anything in life. Don't just think the worst. Be like, oh, I missed out. Like, no, go try. Call. Call and see what your options are. Some of you have way more options than you're actually realizing. Again, this is about focusing on the positive. Knowing that you are loved also, and just feeling the love of God. Feeling the love of source. Feeling the love that's inside of you. Love is the only thing that is real. And so it's like, know that everything, no matter what it looks like, is working for you. Like, you are loved. Like, everything and nothing is conspiring against you. Sometimes it could feel like, even when we talked about David last week, that he started to get to the point where he was questioning, like, what did I do? And again, I know I also gave the revelation of that from the part of he took a look in the mirror. So maybe it is something that once he connected with that, there's something that shifted inside of him, and then the external shifts, right? But if we look at that from another level, if we pull it back even before we get to that layer of it, sometimes it could feel like, man, I must be doing something wrong. Maybe something's wrong with me, when all of those things and all of those labels are inaccurate to the fact that whatever you're dealing with, whether it seems pleasant or unpleasant, is for your good. You are loved unconditionally. If there's anybody that you feel guilty about something, or some of you could be questioning, like sometimes you might walk away from something, right? And you're like, man, I know I'm led. Even for the example, like I gave the example of, I know the spiritual experience that I had that made me do that video that I did in 2020 about the transition, about the shift of focus in terms of spiritual growth and development. I know I had a face to face to where I could not deny that experience. And then when I came out with my video and I stayed true to that guidance, and I had to walk away from certain things that was bringing me a lot of financial prosperity, I literally did end up losing all of those things that came that I walked away from. It brought a lot of loss. However, even when I look back now, I'm like, I can't even fathom, you know, not making that move. It changed so much. Like, there was a journey that happened after that, and it was not comfortable. There are things that I still deal with. It wasn't comfortable at all. It was very uncomfortable, but everything that produced inside of me, invaluable. That no amount of money can buy that. So it was confusing at the time, and I brought that example to say, this is where I was going with this, for how some of you this could apply to. Some of you could have moved away or walked away from a situation, even let's say a certain relationship or a job or a community or something of that nature, and maybe you walked away and it's like, man, I took the leap of faith, but I don't see the resources, I don't see the help coming, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I do need to go back, maybe it was premature, maybe all of these things, and it's like, no. Don't guilt trip yourself. Don't be tempted to go back. Don't, what's the word that I'm looking for that we commonly use? Don't settle. There is no going back. We're moving forward. And anytime we spend in regret or any of those things, we're not focused now. Okay? So for some of you, it's something that you will be walking away from, or maybe you walked away from and you're questioning, like, well, man, I don't know if that's the right move. Maybe I need to go back because I need help. And it's like, no, stand your ground. Okay? Stand your ground. Don't be tempted to go back. Don't let the circumstance, don't move out of fear. If there is something that you're going back to or something like that, ask yourself, why though? Because if you're making a decision out of love, out of truth, out of alignment, and you're going back to something beautiful, nothing wrong with that. But if you're making decisions or if you're going back to something out of fear, and we know when our decisions are led by love or by fear, then just know that it's going to continue to produce those same results. So it's almost something like now or later. It's like for some of you, it's like stay right where you're at. Like, I promise you, there's going to be a shift. There's a blessing, there's a change, there's an unexpected turn of events that's coming that you don't see coming. Okay, there's going to be a pleasant surprise coming to you sooner than you think. It's going to seem like it's out the blue, and it's going to be, and the interesting thing about it is going to happen as soon as you're going to feel a shift in yourself. That's going to be your hero coming through. You're going to feel a peace all of a sudden. You know, as they say, those who keep their mind and eyes focused on God shall be kept in perfect peace. You're going to experience that peace that surpasses all knowledge and understanding. This is the hero in you coming through. This is the light bursting forth. There's no circumstance that is greater than source. There's no circumstance that is too large for the divine. The bigger picture is that you have access to infinite intelligence, to Almighty, to Source, and things are unfolding for you, and they have been. Some of you are at a crossroad where you've been feeling this pressure because you're in between worlds. I don't know if it was with you. I say with you. I meant to say on the Patreon prophetic guidance, or if it was some personals, because I did a lot of personals. Was it on Sunday or Monday? I did a whole bunch of them. I got all of them pretty much out of caught up with. And I know, I don't remember if it was on Patreon or on a personal, but I was talking about, it was something that I was seeing where it's like, you're shifting into this new space and you shifted tremendously. Like you're there, but somebody just holding on to you by the foot into the old world, right? You know, like when you see people, you ever seen those movies where people are, somebody trying to save somebody else, or they're trying to keep them from getting sucked into a portal. And so they got almost their whole body out, but there's just that one person just holding on to the foot, trying to pull them in. And so it's like they're mostly out, but it's just that one little piece that's still stuck in that other space that they could get sucked back down that way. This is how you are. It's like, you're right there, man. Like, you're right there. You're right at the precipice of a change. And when I say a change, this is a forever change. Why is it a forever change? Because this isn't a change that's coming just based off of something conditional. Like, oh, I need love, and then here goes a person that shows up and I feel good for a time. Where this relationship feels good for a time. And then once that goes back into the same patterns, then I still start feeling the same way I was already feeling. Or I need finances, I need resources. And it's like, oh, the resources come, I feel good temporarily because I have the resources, but the actual root hasn't been transformed. Still the same energy. And then when the resources that you get deplete again, then it's like you're back in that same space. The reason this is a forever change is because this change and this time, some of you are like, why isn't anything come through? Is because no. Spirit is on your side. This time, Spirit is like, oh no, we're deading this thing for once and for all. Enough is enough. The root of whatever has been causing whatever this is about for who's listening to this, whatever this is about for you, you're getting ready to literally expose the root and transform it. Anything in our life that is showing up in a way that is unpleasant, especially when we see patterns repeating themselves, then we know there's some thing that we're holding on to. There's some kind of belief that's keeping the experience that we don't want active. That's the underlying truth of the matter. Because when we have the right beliefs based on who we truly are, based on the I am, based on God and us, then there would be no misalignment. There would be no lack of things and all of these things that could be playing out in many of our lives. There's none of that when you are tapped into I am. There's no lack in God. There's no deprivation. So for those of you who this is for, it's like you're getting ready to shift inside. You're getting ready to find a place of unconditional focus. You're getting ready to find how to keep yourself grounded in the storm. Some of you could be feeling like it's stormy around you. You're going to find the space in the midst of the chaos. You're about to find the space in the midst of the anxiety, the space in the midst of the depression, where you cannot be moved. And this takes me even into meditation. This is why meditation is very powerful. Don't judge yourself. Some of you might be like, look, I been keep having to do multiple meditations a day. All right. It's like, do it how you're led. Make sure that you're tapping into that space. If you're not fully meditating, just sit down and just breathe. Full breaths, the 3-chamber breaths, the one that go all the way from the nose all the way down into your stomach to where you feel your stomach push out. This is when you know you're getting a deep breath. Most people breathe shallow, and how you know you're breathing shallow is when you breathe and your shoulders are going up and down or your chest going in and out. But when you're breathing correctly, when you're breathing all the way down through the diaphragm, your stomach is going to push out. Because as your lungs fill with air, it pushes down the diaphragm and the diaphragm pushes out your stomach. So that's how you know whether you're breathing correctly or not. So for some of you, it's just sit outside and take some deep breaths. A few full breaths. Exercise for some of you, so exercise is something that gets the oxygen moving. Some of you might want to do cardio or things of that nature where you really get that oxygen moving in your blood. Could be very beneficial to you as well. But the point of the matter is you're getting ready to find your unconditional anchor. And this is the greatest gift we can have because, it's making me think of when they say, show a man how to give a man a fish he can only eat for a day. Show a man how to fish and he can fish for a lifetime. For those of you who this applies for, the way that you can think of that saying and how it applies to this situation is the thing that you're thinking that you need right now to feel rest or to be at peace or to be at ease or to feel okay. Whatever that is that you're feeling that you need, that would be like somebody giving you a fish that you could eat for a day. But this time, Spirit is like, no, you're beyond that. You're to a much greater level of existence. You're beyond that point. This is where you're given opportunity, and this is what's happening for those of you who this is for. You're getting ready to learn how to fish. Okay? You're getting ready to learn how to fish so that you shall never be without. You're going to get to the root of something. And the pressure that you may be enduring or feeling or the challenges that you may be facing for those of you who this resonates with is the catalyst for that. Get happy about it. Celebrate it. Realize like, man, I can be free regardless of what's happening. So you're telling me that even if things that I think that I need to feel better don't come through, I can find a way to feel better anyway. My life can be completely independent of any of those things that are beyond my control. I've done all that I can do. So I know what's out of my control. This is how you know when things are out of your control. When you have done all that you can do, just stand. This is how you know. You're like, look, I've been doing the works. I know faith without works is dead, and I've been doing the works, and it seemed like that ain't even doing it. So this is how we know when things are out of our hands. You've done all that you can do. Just stand. And more importantly, don't just stand, but how are you standing? With your head held high, in a good posture, feeling good, enjoying your day. May not know how you're going to pay rent tomorrow on the 1st, but you being like, you know what? The first ain't here, and I don't know how I'm going to handle these things, but what I do know how to handle is today. And I'm not going to suffer today for tomorrow. I'm not going to waste my day like that. In that shift, you're going to see things start to show up for you suddenly, like miracle, like wow, like in the nick of time, like I needed this. And when they happen, you're going to be able to make a strong correlation between the shift that happened in you and the manifestation. For those of you who this is for, there are certain things that you don't understand why they're happening or why certain things are not happening. When you're like, look, I'm moving in a new direction. I know I'm being led, but where's the support? Where's the help? Why are things going in a certain type of way? It's because, again, you are at a point where you're the tipping point of a life change. Where there are certain demons and certain struggles that you've had to fight that you're not going to have to fight anymore. You're moving in a completely new direction for a lot of you, especially if this has to do with a career or a job. The pressure that you're facing is because you're literally moving into a new career. You're moving into a new job. You're getting ready to find what you've been seeking for. And it's like, what I really want to say is what you've been seeking at one point that you're getting ready to just let it all go. What you had been seeking is getting ready to find you. Regardless of what you have going on, even for those of you who this resonates with, enjoy the day. Decide that regardless, you're going to enjoy this day. And you're going to see how things shift. You're going to see. You literally have, like, what's ready for you is more options than you can bear. Like, a lot of options, a lot of choices that you like. Completely new world, new reality, new shift. Positive changes even in your physical body, mind, and emotions. Completely new job. Some of you are going to be moving. Like, some of you are moving in many aspects of life, not just house. But for a lot of you, this is a move. You're making a move into a new world inside of yourself, a new reality, a new timeline. There was something that didn't work out for you, where it could be something that you've been working towards, or something, and it could be the thing that fell apart in your life, where it's like, man, I put a lot of work into that. I put a lot of time into that. And again, one place, something may have fell apart or seemed like, man, that wasn't successful. That was a waste of time. You're moving from that into something that is complete success, sweet success. Okay. Getting exactly what you want. Stepping into your power. You know how it feels when you feel empowered, when things are working out for you. So it's like, even there might be certain things. And again, this goes back to that conditional focus, because we'll see people when they have, or they feel they have everything they need. There's one form of confidence that you may get from them. But then when things are lacking, that confidence, it goes with it. And again, this is your opportunity, your greatest gift that you're getting. And this is daily guidance. Some of you are going to be able to tap into this today. I meant to say that at the beginning. This is going to be for whenever you listen, and some of you may be able to apply this relatively soon, if not today. But some of you, this is going to happen for you today. You got help coming. Signs and wonders. Like, even as you listen to this, some of you, as you've listened to this, that was really in that space that we were speaking of, you feel the shift. You don't even know why, but you feel the weight lifted. Continue with that energy. And again, keep it first and forefront of your mind. Enjoy your day. Do what you can do to experience the best day that you can. I don't know why this is so dramatic. This ain't gonna be for nobody in a specific way, but it's making me, what I heard was like, I'm gonna die anyway. But it's like that type of energy. Like, think about somebody that know, like, they're on their last leg. You ever seen those moves where people are like, well, you only have a certain amount of time to live, and then they just start doing everything that they would have done, start living their best life because they know they're gonna die anyway. It's like that type of energy. But for you, it might be like, well, I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills anyway. Well, I'm fired anyway. Or, well, I'm not gonna have a job anyway. Or whatever, you fill in the blank. So let me not worry about it. It is what it is. I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy my time until judgment comes knocking on the door. Do this today. And do this period moving forward. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it the next day. Do this every day. Get out and have fun. This is a new time for you. Get excited about whatever's fallen out of your life, whatever's left, whatever's been removed. Get excited about it. There's no thing, there's no person, there's not anything that brings any of our stability. Our stability comes from source. We can be supplied in many ways. When one door closes, another one literally opens automatically. A lot of times you'll even hear where people say when one person passes away, usually a baby's born right then, or a lot of times, sometime right back into that same family. It might be one person passed away and then you get news, oh, such and such is pregnant. I know I've experienced that plenty of times. I've had a lot of loved ones in my life pass. But it's that thing. It's like there's always balance. There's always compensation. So whatever has walked away, whatever you've had to let go, something already replaced it. And as you be like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy. I'm going with the flow. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm chilling. I'm going to live my best day, my best life, do what I need to do to shift this energy. If it's a prayer, if it's praise, my favorite praise songs, if it's jumping for joy, if it's thanking God in advance, if it's it make me wanna stomp. Some of y'all gonna wanna stomp. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever it may be for you, meditation, whatever it is. Oh, I'm just gonna go play basketball today. That's it. Basketball is what makes me feel good. Whatever it is for you, you're gonna see a shift, and you're gonna see you're getting ready. Like some of you can taste it, but you just don't see it. But it's like, man, success is getting ready to pour upon you, and in many ways, like in all four aspects of your life. You're not gonna have to settle for anything. Some of you may be afraid because it's like maybe you left something that wasn't bad, but it was at least comfortable. And it wasn't what you really wanted, but it was better than nothing. And it's like, no, you're being led to stand your ground. It's time to move in a new direction. Whatever you let go of, it wasn't for you. And it's already been replaced with something much better. So just accept it, embrace it, get excited about that. Perceive it. But remember, we're vibrational, and it's not about there not being opportunities or options or that God's not speaking. We just have to make sure that we're in that frequency to be able to hear, to be able to allow, to be able to not, in the very least, block what is happening. Your hero's getting ready to birth forth. This might be called meeting the hero. Okay, something like that. Some of you, this is a small message I've been picking up, but now that we're done with primarily what was important to get out, some of you might not realize why you felt a certain way about a situation or why you felt to remove yourself or detach yourself from a certain person or situation or group of people. But it's because there's a underlying envy and manipulation and deception that something came with. Whether it was a job, whether it's a person, relationship, or a group of people, there was a level of envy and deception that was going to keep you very bound and already has for long enough, which is why there's been sudden shifts in your life that you might not understand, like why did it have to be during this time? But it's like, it's all happening now because you're literally about to give birth to the inner hero. This has been another episode of The Daily Guide, The Daily Vibe, hosted by yours truly, Pretty Boss. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Have a beautiful, blessed rest of the day. For whoever is tuned into this, have a beautiful, amazing Tuesday. It's October 29th, lunchtime. Go get you some lunch and brunch if you can do that. If you can, you know. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the day as if all the news that you would want that would make you feel good and secure. Enjoy the day as if that is what happened. What would you do if everything already worked out? How would you experience the day if you already knew, oh, all of that stuff is solved? Look, all of my solutions, they're in my email right now. Then how would you experience the day? We got to be unconditionally focused. We take our power back. We can't let the illusion keep us tethered. We can't let the illusion seem like the big bad guy when we really David. We really David. We gonna throw that rock right in the center of the illusion's head by focusing and by taking our power back. There's nothing you can do. Okay, well, what you can do though is maybe there are certain things that you have no power, but you can choose to experience this day to the greatest ability and to get the fullness of it and to experience everything that God has for you in this day. Shouts out to everybody pulling up for the November 2nd meet and greet Saturday. I see you all very soon. I love each and every one of you. For those of you who got the tickets RSVP'd for the meet and greet on Patreon, I love you all so much. This wouldn't have been possible without all of you. This would not have been possible. I wouldn't even have done it or started even thinking to do anything like this if it wasn't for the investors. So I really appreciate all of you, and I want you to understand how much you participating has made this whole thing possible. Saturday is going to be amazing for us all. For those of you who have even taken a leap of faith to do that or to get the ticket, I know times are tight. Trust me, none of you are alone. I'm right with you all, as I always say. It was a leap of faith for me to even do this during this time. But let me tell you, it's going to be a beautiful day for us, family. A lot of things are going to shift there. So I don't know. Like, I've been seeing it. I've been getting glimpses of the experiences of it. Some of you I have never even met before, but it's like I feel like I've seen you and I've already met you because glimpses of the meet and greet keep popping in my mind. So I'm so excited for it. I feel like we're already there, and now we're just physically coming in contact with a situation that's been prepared for us. We are coming together Saturday for a reason. Okay, and I don't know all is going to transpire. All I can say is I feel it inside of myself, and I'm very excited to see all of you. Make sure that you check your email if you haven't already, because I sent out emails to everybody with details about the event. You know, hopefully that's enough time. It should be enough time to get everybody prepared for Saturday. All right. I love y'all so much. Let me know how this resonates. Have a beautiful, amazing day. Unconditionally, baby. If you knew and remember who you are, there will never be a day in your life that you worried about anything. I love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Y'all willing. Peace.